The shadow moved, a flicker in the periphery, and then, from behind the gnarled oak, a head slowly emerged, peering directly at us. That was the moment fear ceased to be an adrenaline rush and became a primal scream trapped in our throats. My best friend, John, and I, always seeking cheap thrills, had ventured into the forbidden woods at the back of our small college town. This wasn't just any patch of trees. It was the desolate, forgotten stretch, partially burned out decades ago, devoid of trails or human presence. Our youthful recklessness had us trekking for over 40 minutes into the pitch-black wilderness, guided only by faint moonlight and our dwindling flashlights. The initial thrill of defying the darkness had worn off, replaced by a quiet, monotonous silence until, completely out of the blue, John spotted it. A low, steady beam of light piercing the gloom. It was a modern flashlight, left abandoned on the forest floor. No campsite, no person, nothing else in sight. The batteries were still strong, meaning it had been dropped recently, perhaps even that night. The chilling realization hit us like a cold wave. Someone had unforgotten a light source in this utter blackness. They had dropped it while running, and if they hadn't returned, they must have been running from something far more terrifying than a forgotten item. A shiver ran down my spine, a warning we foolishly ignored, mistaking it for the adrenaline we craved. We left the flashlight, hoping whoever it belonged to might return, and pushed deeper, now driven by a morbid curiosity to unravel this silent mystery. Barely 2 minutes later, a sharp crack echoed behind us. Then another, and another, like 3 or 4 sticks, snapping in rapid succession. Just 20 feet from John. We spun around, our flashlights frantically cutting through the darkness, but saw nothing. Our nerves, however, were now stretched taut. 5 more minutes of tense silence, then the distinct sound again. Just behind John, a rapid scurrying, like someone running low to the ground. Still nothing. But the second time, the fear was real, a visceral dread that clawed at our throats. This wasn't a game. This was danger. We thought it impossible to encounter anyone in these abandoned woods, especially at this hour. Yet it happened 5, 6 more times, until as we turned, a fleeting shadow darted out of our light, disappearing behind a tree. John saw it too. We froze, staring, our hearts hammering against our ribs. 10 agonizing seconds passed before a figure slowly, deliberately moved its head from behind the tree, peering at us. That was our cue. We booked it, sprinting through the trees, not daring to look back, the sounds of pursuit echoing in our minds. We ran for what felt like an eternity, slowing only when our lungs screamed for air, then walked the rest of the way back. Flashlights on their lowest setting, never seeing that abandoned light again. Days later, our town buzzed with news of a missing person, last seen heading towards the back of town. We couldn't confirm a connection, but the thought of what we almost walked into, what kind of predator lurked in those silent woods, haunted us, a chilling reminder of the thin line between thrill-seeking and pure terror. That harrowing escape was far from my last brush with inexplicable dread. A few years ago, during my final cross-country drive inland, my car chose the most desolate stretch of highway to break down. 1 hour from any town, no cell service, just an endless expanse of dark woods and a few lonely streetlights. After refusing a ride from a mid-30s man smoking a cigarette, my gut screamed danger as he eyed his mirrors with unnerving intensity. I found myself stranded for over an hour, exhaustion setting in. Then headlights from the opposite direction. The car looked eerily familiar, a dark black sedan, but this time a woman was driving. Late 20s, a nervous, almost terrified smile on her face. Relief washed over me. I didn't question her strange demeanor, just hopped in. The silence in the car was thick, suffocating. She stared ahead, wide-eyed, unresponsive to my attempts at conversation. Not a single question about my breakdown. 20 minutes into the drive, a gas station sign appeared. I told her to pull in. She only nodded, still staring straight. As we neared, I asked if she was okay. Her eyes darted to me, filled with a raw, panicked fear, then back to the road. In that instant, I caught a glimpse in the rearview mirror, a shape hunched low in the back seat, now sitting bolt upright, glaring at me. It was him, the man I'd refused earlier, and he looked absolutely furious. My blood ran cold. I yelled for her to pull into the gas station, but she showed no sign of slowing. It clicked. She wasn't a rescuer. She was a victim, forced to lure me into his trap. I pleaded, argued, but the man's enraged shouts from the back seat cut through me, threatening us both to keep driving. We were doing at least 50 when, with a sudden sharp jerk, she swerved into the gas station entrance, slamming on the brakes inches from the pumps. She bolted from the car. I followed, instinct screaming, and we ran inside, telling the night clerk to call the police. The man, now in the driver's seat, sped away into the darkness. We were lucky. She was incredibly brave, defying his threats to save us both from whatever unspeakable fate awaited us down that lonely road. But fate, it seemed, still had more horrors in store. I was working the graveyard shift, alone, at a quiet 24/7 diner by the highway, a friend's place, usually uneventful. One night, 2 truckers stopped for coffee. As I prepared their order, one asked, "You're not alone here, are you?" He'd seen a suspicious guy lurking round the side of the building as they drove in, thought he might be an employee. My stomach tightened. I'd been watching the empty highway all night. I would have seen a car. After they left, I cautiously circled the building. Nothing. It was dark, surrounded by creepy woods. And I didn't linger. I convinced myself the tired trucker had imagined it. Hours later, after cleaning up, I went to the restroom. While inside, I distinctly heard the front door open. I rushed out, ready to greet a customer, but the diner was empty, no car outside. The door wasn't flimsy. It couldn't have opened on its own. A shiver of unease, now undeniable, crawled up my spine. Was the trucker right? Was someone out there had tried to push the paranoia away, returning to the clatter of dishes? Then, above the splashing water, I heard it again, a soft shuffling, something moving, coming from the back rooms. Before I could even react, a man emerged from the hallway. He was around 40, with a greying beard, messy hair, and a disheveled navy blue hoodie. He smiled, a truly unsettling grin, and sat at the bar. I was too stunned, too terrified to ask how he'd gotten in. "Coffee, please," he demanded, breaking the suffocating silence. As I brewed it, I felt his eyes burning into my back. I just wanted him to leave. He started asking questions, invasive, probing. "Just you here, huh? Bet it gets lonely. How long they make you work overnight for?" I mumbled vague answers, desperate not to give him any information. Finally, he stood, thanked me, gave one last creepy smile, and walked out, disappearing up the highway without a car. My heart pounded. Who was he? Was he the lurker? Had he been hiding for hours? I stared out the window, every shadow seeming to twist into a menacing shape. Then I heard it again, a door opening, but not the front one. This time it was the side access door, the one to the dumpster. My blood ran cold. I glanced into the dark hallway. A closet door was swaying gently, like someone had just slipped through it. That was all I needed. I didn't hesitate. I sprinted out, jumped in my car, and sped onto the highway, calling the police as I drove. When the cops arrived, they found him, the same man, hiding in that closet. But that wasn't the most disturbing discovery. In the woods behind the diner, partially dug up, they found a hidden stash, rope, restraints, and other gear for unspeakable horrors. He hadn't just been lurking, he had been casing the place, waiting for me to be alone, ready to grab me and drag me into the dark. Thankfully, he's now locked away for a very long time, but the memory of those 3 terrifying nights serves as a stark, chilling reminder that true monsters often walk among us, hiding in plain sight, waiting for their moment.